Hello, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. Our top stories in the news tonight: chaos erupts at CONCOURT during EDGAR LUNGU'S eligibility case. Former CHIPOLOPOLO captain Rainford KALABA showing steady recovery following road accident. NALOLO residents appeal for ZNS millimil. In international news, Pope Francis invites faithful to pray for people caught in wars. And in sports news, Brazil football legend Romario announces comeback at 58. These are more stories coming up shortly after the break.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Camnet Television Main News in detail. Some Lusaka residents have called on the Lusaka City Council to swiftly remove gambling machines from communities as they pose a threat to children who are fond of using them. In an interview with one of the residents, Vincent Mwanza expressed worry that gambling is leading the majority of children into theft and addiction. Meanwhile, another resident, Memory Zulu, has attributed the increase in child gambling to economic hardships, pushing them to seek money from the machines. On April 15, 2024, the Lusaka City Council urged gambling machine owners, especially bonanzas, to relocate them immediately to designated areas inaccessible to children. Cherish Siwote has more in this report.
The Lusaka City Council on Monday this week called upon all owners of gambling machines, particularly bonanzas, to with immediate effect remove the machines and find specific places to turn into gambling establishments which will not be accessible to children. This is after deep concerns were raised at the rate at which underage children are patronizing and taking part in gambling activities and has resulted in some learners absconding from school. The council urged stakeholders to work together in safeguarding the welfare of children in communities and promote a safe and healthy environment for all residents of Lusaka. A check by Camnet News in one of the peri-urban areas of Lusaka found that some shops have strategically put these machines in areas frequented by children. Camnet spoke to members of the public who are calling for the complete removal of bonanza machines from compounds. Vincent Mwanza, a parent, says the machines are the leading cause to the increase of junkies in society as gambling drives people to stealing.
Fighting for coins to come and do the same thing. So most of the parents in houses, in the same households, they are complaining over the same issue. So the bonanzas, this is not a good business. To more the young people like 14 and below. Because they are casinos. They are okay to big people like me, but us who are big, we are not doing it because we know what we are doing. Most of them are these small children who are getting involved in it, grade 1 to grade 7. Yes. So.
And Memory Zulu says the machines have brought confusion in homes as they are not only being abused by children but also women. Therefore, there is need for them to be banned in certain areas.
Mabonanza yamenya paka makomboni sine yaona bui ndava yaleta maproblems yambiri. Maproblems yaleta kubana na kubazimai bonse kunkala maproblems chifukwa cha njala. Mabonanza bana bamaenda ku mabonanza chifukwa cha njala. Uzaona kunyumba kutoka kuseni sanati akapeza coin yenda kubonanza kuti apezeko yakuti ero kubwera kuli bazimai muzimayi bazamusira ndrama oloba musira ya ndiyo bazafunika kuti aende kubonanza apangirepo ndrama ija ikule apeze benango bamafuna apeza ya ndiyo na ya moba maona That's why it's very bwin. Lero vileta chongo mumanyumba y'abantu.
Meanwhile, Abel Mbita had this to say.
Those are not okay. In short, gambling is not okay. Bonanza destroy a lot of children in the society. Instead of him or she going to school, start doing bonanza. They start stealing. Some they start junking because of the same bonanza. Instead of going to school, but he just looking just for a coin. Akacha bonanza So in short, bonanza is not good in our society.
It might be a lucrative business to the owners of the gambling machines operating in townships, but its effects on school-going children are detrimental and put the country's future at stake. Pupils end up spending too much time at these casinos or shops and miss their classes. As gambling intensifies, class attendance keeps dropping. Even though the child might be physically present, they are constantly not in class. Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Simakumba Ward Area Councillor Suya Mwiko has appealed to the government to take Zambia National Service MEALI to rural areas. Speaking to Camnet News in NALOLO district of Western Province, Mr. Suya says the Simakumba Ward is affected by drought resulting in hunger. He is appealing to government for relief of food and Zambia National Service MEALI to be taken to the area. Here's a report.
With the effect of climate change, which resulted in many people not recording bumper harvest, the government introduced Zambia National Service MEALI to question the hunger situation in the country. And the commodity has never touched some rural parts of the country, and Simakumba Ward in NALOLO district is not exceptional. Speaking to Camnet News in NALOLO district, Simakumba area ward councillor Suya Mwiko is appealing to the government to take the MEALI even to the rural areas.
But wazire mumazoni aka A7 kukalaba Sinungu, Mofu, Imafua, Nalibo, Lilwa, Nambwaye ni Mapungu. Batu lutoko kuli batu bapile lutoko mwendi over 18,000 by 50 kg. Kakukiwadi yetu na hulu yetu kwa kuli mani muso au kaba nitu kusuzemu lukela kubana ni mawadi amabeli. Hulu bupi wazeti NS kambi wafita mwali lalanda zala una mabuse mwale Makumba wadi. Manesi nyine Makumba wadi fela kulukala makoka kambai okolo shekela likulwe.
The area councillor says hunger is not only in urban areas, but people in rural areas have also been affected due to climate change, which has brought drought. Other residents, Mwepe Kwamashita and Mulimambanga, also expressed their concern about the hunger situation in the area.
Kupa muso liteni kulukona kulutusa kulukwela mangeke tubupitoto vale kisato twa muso to na twalo kwa kanda tufumanehi kitwa mama town ferali twele kyalu kupa kuli tubupitoto chipeni to na mfumanehe ni bwana
bikataza kuli lulime hakuna zeza halile no ruhupula muhupulo akuli kambe muhuso au lupuzi kwa fertilizer chwana ne bali sela eliso kambe balufanga ngero na abanzi mwakwenda kulidinuka linzi kwa ule ne bama oho lunaniona ntusela eliso kambe lwa sela elanga kuli halu sela ela zoru limireza lelo afumana fulu fepehela nkufepa mabasi aluna kona kupo yaka kwa muso kuli Yesu na kuli lubonele lwa kwa butuku security sana lolo siziele hile kweza kuli neba maraisi au mwali vala kuli kambe kimwali vala fa kumbone raisi ate niona ichile watu kafane baikatalize kuna hakuna zeza halile.
Museva Kavira, Camnet News in Simakumba Ward, NALOLO district of Western Province.
Former CHIPOLOPOLO captain Rainford KALABA's condition continues to improve following a weekend road accident in Kafue, which tragically resulted in the death of Charlene Mumba, aged 28. According to the University Teaching Hospital Public Relations Officer Nzeba Chanda, KALABA is now able to recognize those around him when he opens his eyes, a significant improvement since his admission to the hospital. Ms. Chanda, however, disclosed that doctors have not yet recommended his evacuation, urging the public to keep him in their prayers. Details in this report.
The past few days have been emotional for some soccer fans in the country, as others have turned to the Lord's healing through prayer after former CHIPOLOPOLO and TP Mazembe captain Renford KALABA was involved in a road traffic accident in Kafue. Wednesday, 17th April 2024, marks exactly 5 days since the former CHIPOLOPOLO captain was hospitalized at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH, under the intensive care unit in Lusaka, receiving treatment. Giving the latest update Wednesday, Hospital Public Relations Officer Nzeba Chanda confirms the improvement of the health of the ex-footballer, explaining that KALABA's condition remains stable and steadily improving, as medical professionals at the hospital remain committed and dedicated to providing him with the required treatment for continuous improvement. Ms. Chanda indicates that the Zambian football legend can now recognize who is by his side once he opens his eyes, which was not the case when he was first brought to the facility on Saturday.
Today, he's improved very well. He's stable and he keeps on improving by the day. Maybe I can take you back to the time that he came on Saturday. On Saturday, he was very bad, and then he kept on stabilizing. He was critical, but he was stable, and then now he's stable and he's improving. And as I can say today, as I can report to you, is that he's really improving. He can open his eyes, and he's able now even to know who's by his side when he's awake. So those are good improvements.
The hospital spokesperson also explains that currently no recommendations have been put forth by the doctors to evacuate the former sportsman, and advise the public to continue praying.
As at now, we cannot say anything because the doctors are the ones that will determine if we have to evacuate him or not. If he has to stay here, or maybe they need any other attention in terms of medication or treatment, it is the doctors that will tell us what to do. But for now, he's here and he's improving. What I can tell people now, you know, Zambia is a Christian nation, and when you're a Christian, the only confidence that you have is God. So as much as the doctors and the physicians are doing what they are doing, we also need to pray. Because if there's a man to pray, there's a God to answer. All of us, as we are panicking and thinking that what is going to happen, I can assure you that he's stabilizing by the day and he's improving. What we need to do is to pray for him. Let's pray for him. Let's pray for the family. Let's pray that...
The former CHIPOLOPOLO captain, Renford KALABA, was involved in a road traffic accident last Saturday, 13th April 2024. Soccer star KALABA captured the hearts of many during his contributions to the lifting of the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Confusion erupted at the Constitutional Court Wednesday morning after the case challenging former President Edgar Lungu's eligibility for future elections brought by a youth advocate was adjourned. Some upset students began shouting derogatory remarks at Mr. Lungu, prompting some PF cadres, including Peter Kashala, to react. However, former President Lungu questioned why the students were outside the Constitutional Court grounds instead of focusing on their studies. Earlier, the court had adjourned the case until June 24 after noticing that some documents submitted by Mr. Lungu's legal team had smaller font size, making it difficult for the judges to read. In this matter, Michelo Chizombe wants the court to declare Mr. Lungu's participation in the August 2021 presidential elections as unconstitutional. Nelson Zulu filed in this report.
The Constitutional Court ground was Wednesday morning, 17th April 2024, a hive of activities as students from the University of Zambia and Evelyn Horn College grouped in a show of solidarity to National Council of Student Unions NACOSU chairperson Michelo Chizombe, who is challenging the eligibility of former President Edgar Lungu to contest the 2021 and future elections. However, the Constitutional Court adjourned the matter to June on account that some documents filed by Mr. Lungu's lawyers had smaller fonts, which made it difficult for judges to read. This was after the matter came up for hearing of preliminary issues Wednesday before Constitutional Court judges Margaret Munalula, Arnold Shilimi, Palan Mulonda, Anis Itali, Mugen Mulenga, Martin Msaluke, Matthew Chusunka, Jude Mlongoti, Madford Mwandenga, Maria Kawimbi, and Kenneth Molife. According to Chizombe's lawyer, Michael Mono, Mr. Lungu's lawyers filed a defective record of motion as it lacked some documents such as the petition, and this led to the adjournment to June to allow the defense lawyers to rectify the defects on the record of motion.
It pointed out that the record of motion, which was filed by Edgar Lungu and his lawyers, is defective. It is defective to the extent that it is lacking or missing important documents such as the petition that should be included in the record of motion. That being the case, the court could not proceed to hear the preliminary issues owing to those defects. The other issue that the court raised is that some of the documents that Edgar Lungu's lawyers have filed are in the type of font that makes it difficult for some of the judges to read. It's not clearly legible.
But defense lawyer Makebi Zulu says Mr. Lungu will raise preliminary issues to dismiss the matter as it has been adjudicated upon 4 times now.
Because of issues to do with load shedding and all, so we're not able to see the font size. Our font size was rather small, and they've asked us to amend to have a bigger font size so that they're able to read.
In this matter, Mijolo Chizombe also cites the Electoral Commission of Zambia and Attorney General Molilo Kabesha as respondents and wants the court to declare that Mr. Lungu's participation in the August 2021 presidential election was unconstitutional. Meanwhile, shortly after the matter was heard, some angry students started shouting disparaging remarks at Mr. Lungu with t-shirts branded North Third Term, forefather of corruption, an action which provoked some PF cadres, among them Peter Kashala, who was picked by police for allegedly assaulting a female UNZA student.
Yes, a group of cadres which came, which caused a commotion, which resulted the students to react.
What we are saying is that we are just trying to send a message out there to, especially the politicians, to say that when we are having such cases, please don't bring cadres here.
But former President Edgar Lungu wondered why the students were outside the Supreme Court instead of studying.
Those are students, yes. They're supposed to be studying. What are they doing? They come to support your excellency.
Until then, one questions what will happen next, as the matter has been heard before prior to the elections in 2021. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Socialist Party National Youth spokesperson Stanley Mubatsa has urged the students to protest former Republican President Edgar Lungu's eligibility in the 2021 elections, as witnessed today at the High Court in Lusaka. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Mubatsa says the government should instead allocate bursaries to the students as opposed to allegedly exploiting them for their political aspirations. This morning, a clique of students suspected to be from the University of Zambia and Evelyn Horn College were spotted at the Constitutional Court, where former President Edgar Lungu appeared for his eligibility case.
We are concerned that this administration assembled students from higher learning institutions, namely UNZA and Evelyn Horn College and many others, and took them to High Court to go and offer the so-called, to go and protest that ECO is not eligible. They are forgetting that the very students they've taken there are the very students who need bursaries. We have a situation here at Evelyn Horn College where 3/4 of the first years have been denied bursaries by this government. Instead of taking them to High Court, they should take them to the Minister of Higher Education and give them solutions, and that solution is giving them bursaries. You cannot be a government that is there to use and abuse students. Your sons and daughters are using taxpayers' money and they are learning abroad. Sons and daughters of the poor, you want to subject them to inimical, undertakings, to useless undertakings. It is not fair, it is not correct, and it cannot be correct no matter how you see it. So we are saying, stop failing students like you are failing goats to Kasumbalesa. stop misbehaving and empower these students. The empowerment that you need to do is to give them bursaries. So we as Socialist Party, we condemn. You saw that already there was violence there and one individual was attacked. It is because of the recklessness of the UPND leadership, and this must come to an end.
The Ministry of Technology and Science says the uranium levels found in drinking water at Barrick Lumwana Mining Company are within safe limits according to international standards set by the Atomic Energy Agency. Speaking to the media, Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati says the samples collected by the Radiation Protection Authority and the National Institute for Scientific and Industrial Research showed that uranium levels were below the threshold deemed hazardous to human health, which is 100 millisieverts. Mr. Mutati also mentioned that the RPA will maintain awareness efforts and environmental monitoring at Barrick Lumwana mine to safeguard workers from potential harm due to ionizing radiation exposure. Here's a report.
In the month of February, it was reported that Barrick Lumwana Mining Company had been battling to contain uranium contamination of drinking water at its facility in Northwestern Province. But originally, the issue was noted November last year. According to the Radiation Protection Authority, Barrick Lumwana Mining Company informed the authority on 27 November 2023 of the elevated uranium levels in potable water from one of the water treatment plants, which was supplying drinking water to one of the sections of mine employees. The uranium levels were detected by the mine's environmental department. During the routine sampling checks, the level detected was 0.037 kilograms per liter. The Ministry of Technology and Science has clarified that the levels detected were below the 100 millisieverts set International Atomic Energy Agency standards and had no risk as far as radiation exposure to human health and the environment. Speaking at a press briefing, Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati says the Radiation Protection Authority carried out sample tests to substantiate that the detected levels are not harmful to the residents of Lumwana.
No risk as far as radiation exposure to human health and environment is concerned. Following the incidents, Barrick Lumwana Mining Company undertook immediate corrective actions. The use of potable water from the water treatment plant was suspended and employees were provided with alternative water sources.
He says the ministry through RPA will continue to monitor Barrick Lumwana mine to ensure the safety and protection of workers and the environment from possible ionizing radiation.
Has put in place a strong regulatory framework to ensure that our workers, our people, are protected. In addition, RPN continues to monitor the transportation, the usage of any material or devices that are capable of emitting radiation.
Meanwhile, Radiation Protection Authority Director Bosta Simwila has assured Zambians that the authority has made various strides in protecting citizens from radiation.
Without having competences present in all the areas where monitoring and inspections are required, we will have a lot of challenges. On our database right now, the statistics show that we have moved from about 800 to more than 2,000 registered users of radiation. So that gives you a picture that we are on the ground and we are enforcing, and the enforcement mechanism is really strengthened.
Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has urged research institute centers in the country to implement smart agriculture farming methods to cushion the impacts of the recently experienced drought. Speaking when he toured the sorghum trial plots at Mount Makulu in Chilanga, President Hichilema underscored the importance of supporting drought-resistant crops to enhance agricultural efficiency. He adds that the country is in urgent need of mitigation measures following the adverse effects of the drought, which saw over 1 million farmers losing their crops, ultimately affecting the country's food security.
Some of the mitigation measures, the scientists, the researchers, doing their work to breed varieties that are drought resistant, to breed varieties that this morning in the room I was being told even flood resistant. Some of this sorghum will survive under a flood and it will survive under a drought. It's fantastic. This is good. But also to breed varieties that are high yielding so that we can bring about efficiencies in our production of the crops that we produce. This will come from research. But research is not good enough if it's not taken to the fields. It's not taken to the farmers, for farmers to grow those varieties with such attributes. The high yielding is important because we want to drift agriculture to higher productivity, anchored, as I said, on the genetics, such as what you're saying, on irrigation, on husbandry, crop, as it were. So this is a good thing. So I'm very delighted that I'm here, and I want to encourage.
The Zambia Congress of Trade Unions, ZCTU, has described the decision by government to take back the National Health Insurance Management Authority, NEMA, to the Ministry of Health as an anomaly. In an interview with Camnet News, ZCTU President Blake Mulala observed major inconsistencies during the time NEMA was under the Ministry of Health, adding that taking it back is a compromise on quality of service delivery of medical services sought under the health scheme. He adds that government should review its decision and maintain the stance of having the insurance scheme designated under the Ministry of Labour to foster accountability of the services provided for in the scheme. More in this report.
The decision to move the National Health Insurance Management Authority, NEMA, back to the Ministry of Health has sparked mixed reactions from the public and notable stakeholders involved. On the 28th of March 2024, government announced that it had moved NEMA back to the Ministry of Health. The Federation of Free Trade Unions in Zambia welcomed the development following its announcement.
NEMA is a solidarity scheme that includes all the citizens, the general citizenry, regardless of whether they are workers or not, they're in the private sector, they are in the entrepreneurship. NEMA is all inclusive, and to take it as a principle of workers.
However, the Zambia Congress of Trade Unions has raised concerns regarding this decision to place the insurance scheme under the Ministry of Health, describing it as an anomaly. In an interview with Camnet News, ZCTU President Blake Mulala says the move could potentially undermine the effective management of the insurance scheme.
To the heavily infested, corrupt Ministry of Health, what we need to do currently is the Ministry of Health must work hand in hand with the Ministry of Labour and the trade unions to fight the scourge of theft of drugs. Because the challenge we have in the hospitals, when you go in these hospitals, there are no drugs. We cannot blame NEMA for the absence of drugs in our hospitals. It's a management issue which the Ministry of Health must sort out. The Ministry of Health is not the rightful place to put in NEMA because there will be no transparency. Corporate governance, I think, require that there must be separation in terms of transparency must be seen that it's working. Because the Ministry of Labour, we believe that it's the best ministry. There's no specialized institution under the Ministry of Health, like we said from the start. And our staff.
Mr. Mulala has further highlighted that such a shift seemingly compromises the quality of services offered under the insurance scheme. In light of these concerns, ZCTU has further appealed to the government to reconsider its decision and revert NEMA's oversight back to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
I'm shocked to hear again at the same time, they are also saying, yes, NEMA should be at the Ministry of Health, that's where it's supposed to be. What message are we sending to our to the workers, our members we represent. If we will be going to say yes, yes all the time, we should have a stance in these issues. I think we have spoken much about NEMA. NEMA is a contributor scheme for the workers. NEMA is a social scheme who's funding mostly employers and workers. Anything, any pronouncements which must be done, you cannot do a pronouncement to have changes or just look like a company where you have got shareholding. The majority shareholding are not able to know what is happening at the company, then changes are taking place. This is the same story we say. We are, as workers, the major funders. And any pronouncement.
Chandamwango for Camnet News in Lusaka.
This is Camnet Television Main News. We'll take a break. Join us for more news shortly after the break.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260-763-062-680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodlands, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of KALABA. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. The Zambians for Peace, Unity and Development, ZUPED, has urged the government to ensure that the $24 million forfeited by Milingolungu is invested in KCM's operations. ZUPED President Ronnie Jere says it is prudent that the $24 million be taken back to KCM, knowing too well that the mine has been struggling in the recent years. He notes that $24 million, if taken back where it was taken, will cushion the operational challenges that KCM is going through. Here's a report.
As of the money that was recovered from KCM, we are of the view that this money could be channeled back to KCM to help with payment of the creditors at KCM. We know that KCM is struggling with credits, and at the moment they are over and above somewhere around $2 billion in terms of owing suppliers, contractors, and others. So we feel that that money, the $24 million, if taken back to where it was gotten, it will help cushion on the operational challenges that KCM is going through. We know that there is a creditors scheme of arrangement calling on all creditors to sit down and arrange as to how they are going to be paid, I think somewhere in May. We feel that that money could also help in paying out some of the people that are owed monies from KCM. We also want to take this opportunity to commend government for continuing to recover resources from suspected proceeds of crime.
Youth Alliance District Association, YADA, says there is a need for the mining firms to work closely together in order to address the high unemployment levels in Northwestern Province. YADA President Emmanuel Nkole says government is the biggest employer, but it cannot absorb all the youths who are unemployed in Kalumbila District. Mr. Nkole feels the mining firms in the province can play a huge role in addressing youth unemployment, especially that government is training youths in skills development. He was speaking at an engagement meeting in Kalumbila District.
Or business opportunities. Therefore, it's not only, we will not allow to only leave the government to say they should actually attend to youth needs. The new Dawn government is making a lot of efforts when it comes to CDF, where there is skills development, boarding school, bursaries, and also grants, youth empowerment. And recently, we have seen youth-owned companies winning contracts in councils to make desks, of which this has been our cry as youths in the past, and the government is making it a reality, despite the challenges that we are still facing, the challenges that they are facing. And also, most importantly, we are actually interested more in a workable way forward to address the youth challenges that will be raised here during today's gathering. Take note that the youths who are gathered here at Trident Limited, the youths who are gathered here, they are not from Lusaka, they are not from Copper Belt, but from within the district, especially in your area of operation, which is your country.
The National Action for Quality Education in Zambia, NAKEZ, has urged the Ministry of Education to bring to a stop unnecessary expense meetings in schools following the misappropriation of over 356 million kwacha meant to serve as free education grants. In an interview with Camnet News, NAKEZ Executive Director Aaron Chansa described the mishaps revealed in the audit by the Ministry of Finance and National Planning on the use of school grants. He adds that the ministry should ensure that the corrective measures as indicated in the audit report are implemented to avoid further repercussions. Recently, the Ministry of Finance, in an audit report dated 10th April 2024, did reveal misappropriation of free education grants amounting to over 356 million kwacha.
I want to appeal to the Minister of Education to be above this issue, to make sure that, first of all, he stops these unending and expensive meetings where senior officers like the Permanent Secretary would invite head teachers, and the schools would spend a lot of money over these meetings. We would want the minister to put a stop to that. We also want to see the ministry sending qualified accounting staff to schools so that the abuse can be reduced. But we also want the minister to go an extra mile. We don't just want to hear threats, but we want the minister to walk the talk. Those that are found wanting in terms of abusing these very important grants must be punished. We can't allow the abuse of more than 356 million kwacha, which was meant for learners and teachers, being abused in that manner. I also want to appeal to the general public to get annoyed, demand for accountability. These are very, very key grants that are supposed to go towards uplifting the standards of education in our country. And it's very, very shocking that all that money can go to waste, while the nation is quiet. We are very, very surprised. This is going on without all of us getting annoyed about this.
This is Camnet Television Main News. We take our final break. Join us for more news shortly after the break.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
And now in international news, Pope Francis invited faithful on Wednesday to pray for all people suffering in conflicts around the world and urged the liberation of prisoners of war. The Pope has often called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, asking conflicting parties to follow the path of negotiations. During Easter, Pope Francis called for an immediate ceasefire and the release of all Israeli hostages. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
An annual army parade at the barracks north of Tehran. The parade, a perfect event to showcase artillery and ammunition in the context of the present tensions with Israel. On Wednesday, Iran warned it would not hesitate to launch a harsh response should Israel try to invade or attack the country. If the tiniest invasion is made by the Zionist regime against our homeland or our interest, they will face a very massive and harsh response. Iran launched hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel over the weekend in response to an apparent Israeli strike on Iran's embassy compound in Syria on April 1 that killed 12 people. Israel, with help from the US and other allies, successfully intercepted nearly all the missiles and drones. Pope Francis on Wednesday invited the faithful to pray for all people suffering in conflicts around the world and urged for the liberation of prisoners of war. The 87-year-old pontiff also condemned torture, describing it as not human. His latest prayer comes as tensions boil in the Middle East between Israel and Iran. Our thoughts at this time, all of us, goes to the populations at war. Let us think of the Holy Land, Palestine, Israel. Let us think of Ukraine, of the martyred Ukraine. Let us think of the prisoners of war. May the Lord move the will to free them all. And speaking of the prisoners, it comes to mind for those who have been tortured. Torturing is a very bad thing. It is not human. Let us think about so many tortures that hurt the dignity of the person, and to so many tortured people. May the Lord help everyone. May the Lord bless everyone. And to all of you, I send my blessing.
Che feriscono la dignità della persona e a tanti torturati. Che il Signore aiuti tutti e benedica tutti, e a tutti voi la mia benedizione.
The Catholic Pontiff has repeatedly deplored the death and destruction in the Gaza war. During Easter, Francis called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and the release of all Israeli hostages.
Hundreds of Kenyan doctors and other medical practitioners protested on Tuesday demanding better pay and working conditions in an ongoing nationwide strike that has entered its 5th week. Florence, a cancer patient, visited Kenya's referral hospital on Tuesday morning, hoping she would get treatment for her worsening leg, but was left unattended. We have not got any treatment. We have waited for a long time and we just had to leave without any medication. The doctors chanted against the Kenyan government, saying it had failed to implement a raft of promises, including a collective bargaining agreement signed in 2017.
We're not going to bow to any forms of intimidation and threats, and we're hereby saying today that we're going to continue picketing, we're going to continue to exercise our constitutional rights as per Article 37 of the Constitution. We have already filed a petition to Parliament to review our grievances.
Another medic involved in the protests highlighted the dire situation faced by patients, particularly those suffering from conditions like cancer.
We are the ones in the hospitals every single day. We are the ones who see that patient who is suffering from cancer. And now they do not have any form of chemotherapy, they do not have radiotherapy. So we feel really bad. We feel very empathetic, we are very sad. But now, what we are fighting for better health care. And it is better health care even for those patients.
The strike has left many patients without access to essential medical services, exacerbating their conditions and causing distress.
And now in sports news, at 58, Brazilian football legend Romario has quite a resume. World Cup winner, senator and president of his favorite club, American Football Club of Rio de Janeiro. Now 15 years after hanging up his boots, the iconic striker has decided to add another entry to his CV, coming out of retirement to rejoin America as a player. The 1994 World Cup winner announced Wednesday he has officially registered to play again for struggling America, while currently playing in the 2nd division of the Rio State Championship and fighting to return to the top flight. But he started his professional career with their local rivals Vasco da Gama and soon transferred to Europe, where he showed with PSV Eindhoven and Barcelona. Along the way, he was an integral member of the Brazil side that won the 1994 World Cup in the United States, winning the FIFA World Player of the Year award the same year. He retired in 2008 but made a first comeback the following year to play a brief stint at America. To end Camnet television main news, the top stories once again. Chaos erupted at CONCOURT during EDGAR LUNGU'S eligibility case. Former CHIPOLOPOLO captain Rainford KALABA showing steady recovery following road accident. NALOLO residents appeal for ZNS millennial. In international news, Pope Francis invites faithful to pray for people caught in wars. And in sports news, Brazil football legend Romario announces comeback at 58. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Psalms 121, verse 7 to 8. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Thank you for watching Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.